Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I am absolutely ecstatic this evening to be joined by a man, again, who doesn't really need much of an introduction. If you've been in the fights, you know who this is. It's none other than Coach Chattereth Pod. Coach Pod, how?
Hey George, Jadip Sua, Suasne, Chnam Tame, welcome to the new year. Okay, let me see what happened. Did you freeze on me?
Coach Pod, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I think we had a
Okay.
little frozen session.
Sorry about that. So I basically just introduced you. How you doing, Coach Pod?
I am good. I am good. I don't know if I was able to do it, but Jadip Sua, Cambodian way of saying hello.
I love it.
Suasne, Chnam Tame, welcome to the new year, 2024. Big things for FightersRep. So I'm glad that we're here. We get to talk about March 2nd.
I love it, man.
Two great fighters.
I love it. Happy New Year to you too. And I want to say, big shout out to you, man, continuing to spread that lineage, continuing to spread that knowledge from the old country, man, that Cambodian martial arts that you were taught from your father, and you're bringing it to our community and you're spreading it all over Long Beach, man. So all these guys are very lucky to get that knowledge from you.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. So March 2nd, of course, on February 17th, we've got our first Florida show. I wish I could have you at that, but I know you're busy and you're hard at work for March 2nd, our Los Angeles show, where you're not going to be cornering one guy for a title, right? You're going to be cornering two guys fighting for a title at FightersRep 22. How does that feel?
That is correct, George. So two guys. So we'll have David Marquez. I'll be his main trainer, and the Cuban Missile Sergio. So I'm going to be his second. Coach B, Josh Afachman. He's going to be the head coach, and I'll be assisting him on that. Once I heard that Sergio was getting ready to fight, Jason Granado. Jason Granado has built his name. He's a great fighter. I'm a big fan of him. There was one time where, Cody Session came to me and said, hey, can you help tape up my fighter's hand? We were looking for some tape, and it was going to be Jason that was going to tape up, but they were able to find somebody else when I got in there. So, this is a perfect matchup, for fighters, fans to watch. So if you guys are watching this interview right now and you haven't subscribe, please press subscribe right now. You have to. Great ring. The rule set is for boxing, kickboxing, so you're not going to see that much clinch where you're clinching for 3 to 4 seconds or longer. Referee will break it up, and then boxing and kicking is going to come back in. So This is perfect for the Cuban Missile. So that's what I want to say.
And that's right. That's the fight. So you're cornering David Death Dealer Marquez, who's defending his FightersRep title, and it's interesting because you're cornering Sergio, the Cuban Missile Crisis Rodriguez, who's going to be fighting for a title that's held by Jason the Gator Granado. So in one position you're defending, and in one position you're fighting for a belt. It's kind of two different mentalities. I wanted to ask you, is there a different kind of mentality when you're defending your belt versus you're fighting for a belt?
The mentality wise is going to be the same, with David. He's the champion. He's going to be holding the belt, and then he's going to be fighting Ralph Sanchez, who they fought before. It was a very close fight. We thought we came out with the victory, but we didn't. But it was a learning process for David to understand. So we're able to pick it apart. Now we understand how to beat Ralph for this fight. So David has to push it to bring it in. With Sergio, I have to set aside, just like when I was working with Coach Matt Johnson. I can't jump in there and say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Josh and telling him, hey, this is look at the defense, look at the cover up. So those are the things that I bring to the table for Sergio.
Yeah. Now, Coach, you mentioned we lost you for a second there after you said you kind of got to set aside for Sergio Rodriguez. What did you say after that? Because I think what you mentioned was Joshua Fochman is the head coach for that. So what is it you're providing as a second there?
So I'm looking at more of the defensive side. So Sergio is coming to me. I'm going to get him his check ready for his thighs, his check ready for his body shots. And we already, Jason Granado already showed in his last fight against, King Cobra that he does have a vicious uppercut, and he knows how to set up that uppercut. So now we have to train Sergio, a different style of blocking so that uppercut doesn't go flush through. So, those are the things that, we're going to be working on.
Absolutely. So, and we do have the Cuban Missile Crisis in the chat. He says, let's go, Coach. Also, big shout out, not just to him, but also to Joshua, the Korean Pitbull Fochman, a guy who's fought in the Lions Den a few times, and a guy who I love watching him transition into the role of a coach, Coach Pop. But I want to start with Rodriguez versus Jason Granado, man. What a juicy fight this is. I don't think this is a fight that a lot of people had on their radar because, Sergio has only fought in the Lions Den one time, but he's been out there making a name for himself and really knocking guys out in spectacular fashion, doing some amazing stuff. I see his athleticism. I see his talent. I see his ability. What do you see about Sergio that you think makes him a real good fight for Jason Granado? What do you think are his qualities that are going to get him the victory on March 2nd?
His determination and hard work. When NHC got Josh to run the team, Sergio came to BP Martial Arts Academy to learn, a different style of kickboxing. And I told him, man, your boxing could beat a lot of kickboxers. Your 1-2 is flush straight down the middle. You're able to target your opponent. So when he was sparring with some of the guys, I was able to see his 1-2 come straight in. Bam, bam. I asked his sparring partner, why did you let the 1-2 hit you? Sparring partner said, did not see it coming. Yeah. So there's the speed to it. A lot of people like to cover up with the 1-2, and then we come with something else, body punches, knees. But his 1-2 is just hard for you to see. And if you do see it, it's going to hit you in the face. So that's what I see, that determination to go against Jason. Jason, well-rounded. He understands, he was over there watching, Sergio fight at FightersRep. So he knows that Sergio does have the 1-2, but it's all about execution. Every single boxer has a 1-2, who could, perfect it, who can execute it, well during the fight, during the night that you're supposed to do it. So that's the thing that Sergio has. There's other weapons that Sergio has. He has an uppercut too. I've told him, hey, I've fought taller guys than me. How do we get into taller guys? Stay within their length. If they're going to reach out to you and you're in their length and they have that long reach, they're not going to hit you with full power unless they separate. So if they're going to separate, we're going to stay in with the fight. The cool thing about FightersRep, so you guys got to catch this too, there's knees. If you stay in, you're going to get kneed, but we also have things for those knees too. So we're just game planning, and then we're going to see if Sergio and our team could execute what we're going to do, for the fight.
Yeah. That is such an exciting fight, man. I imagine, B is excited about the fight. I imagine you're excited about the fight. I imagine Sergio's excited about the fight. What's kind of the buzz around the gym? Not just NAC, but even BP. I mean, what's the buzz around the gyms for this fight? What are people saying about the fight?
They couldn't wait. Before it was it wasn't mentioned. This is what we were training for. We were training for this moment. Hey, Sergio wants to fight, the top guy. Who is the top guy in this weight division is Jason Granado. You see them, probably they posted up too, at the Beehive Instagram. They're going 24 rounds,
Yeah.
24 rounds of sparring. I
Wow.
remember when I was training, we were going 10 to 12 rounds. So they're stepping it up a different level, so the cardio is going to be there. It's a 5-round fight. You have to train your fighter for a 5-round fight. Can't just think of a knockout. A knockout is always a bonus, for your fighter. So training Sergio ready for a 5-round fight. That's my key part, to stay strong, stay healthy, for a 5-round fight.
What are some strengths and weaknesses that you see in Granado that you're looking out for Sergio?
So you look at Granado swings, if you look at his films, his hand goes up, but it comes back down. So hopefully we're able to catch him with that. If he's listening, he's gonna, he's gonna hear it. But I'm a coach. I'm not a fighter anymore. So these are the things that I like to see. Nobody has test his legs yet. Was it Della Paz?
De La Paz was his last fight with us. Yeah, it was very.
Della Paz was able to kick. That was a perfect matchup too. I guarantee you they're gonna run it again. But Della Paz was able to throw kicks and kind of understand what his check block is and what his counter is. So we're able to kind of look into that too. So but Sergio likes to bang. You can put a game plan in front of Sergio, and once he's able to connect, he's going to keep on going.
Yeah. Granado has a tremendous, height and reach advantage in this fight. You mentioned, one possibility, stay inside. What advantages do you think Sergio has in the fight? I mean, you mentioned he's very quick. He's got some good speed. Do you think he has a speed advantage in this fight? Maybe power? What do you think he's got in this fight that could trouble Jason?
The power, the head movement, and the toughness. This is, when I met Sergio, he could take kicks, he could take punches, and the cool thing about him is that he smiles. He has a smirk. So when he does, he understands what he has, and he's going to come straight forward with it. So, I showed many of my students, hey, I'm 5'8", and I fought guys that were 5'11", 6'5". I know how to get into those longer opponents. So this is what's going to help Sergio with it.
Yeah. Any predictions for that fight, Coach? What do you think happens in that?
I'm going to give the fans what they want. Okay, one knockdown apiece. Sergio never been knocked down before, so I'm going to just say, hey, one knockdown apiece. Bam, goes down. Bam, goes down. Third round comes. Let's see who has the gas tank. And then the missile.
Fifth round.
Missile comes to the 5th round. And win a bloody decision. So that's what I'm going for. So Sergio, we're gonna train him for 5 rounds. We're gonna go for the victory. Gonna come out strong and hold the belt. That's my prediction.
Tremendous fight. I can't wait to watch that fight. And before we go on to the next one, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Join the channel to help us continue to build this amazing platform at FightersRep, where we have incredible fighters that are going to be competing, like Sergio Rodriguez, like David Death Dealer Marquez. And, obviously we get to work with coaches like Coach Pot and like the Korean Pitbull and everybody else. And we can't do it without your support. So please subscribe, join the channel, get your merchandise. Anything you spend here gets reinvested back into the promotion. If you guys want to sponsor us or any of the fighters, feel free to reach out and do so. Coach Pot, I wanted to move on. As intriguing as that fight is, I'm really excited about this fight. I mean, this card is going to be really crazy. I want to move on to Death Dealer, man. He's going to be defending his title against Ralph Sanchez, who won a very close and I think controversial decision against Death Dealer in the past. They're rematching now, but it's a totally different time. Ralph Sanchez has increased his experience a lot, but of course, so has the Death Dealer, and now he's become the champion. He's holding that fighter's rep strap, and he's defending it in its home territory for both of them. But that Lions Den is really Death Dealer's home territory at this point. He's got a lot of experience in there. Kind of tell me your thoughts on this fight and how you think this one's going to go.
So coming into the first fight, we didn't expect that Ralph had an inside kick. Not a lot of people was throwing, inside kicks to David to throw him off,
Yeah.
So when Ralph did that, that was the thing that set the tone to kind of change. Probably the judge was looking at it like, okay, this is how we saw Ralph winning.
That Coach Hung, he's clever, man.
Yeah. So, that's the cool thing about coaching. Some coaches might outsmart the other coach. So much respect to Coach Hung, and his team.
It's a battle between all of you guys. It's a battle with all of you guys too.
Right,
you guys are all great.
I heard it from the corner. I heard it from the corner. She's telling Ralph, inside kick, inside kick, inside kick. So anything that David threw, bam, an inside kick comes, and then Ralph is able to come and capitalize on that. So now that David is defending his title, he upgrade his game. Ralph also upgrade his game. So we're looking at that too. We don't want the judges to kind of look at those inside kick and say, hey, this is the determining factor. David has gotten stronger. He's teaching multiple classes where he's becoming a teacher, so he's able to see where punches are coming, what combinations to throw. He's teaching, so that gives him the advantage. Him being a teacher is going to give him an advantage. And then plus he has Josh, the Korean pit bull, and he has me in his corner. So you got two guys that knows how to rush in there, and fight, and produce knockouts. So that's the thing that David's going to have.
What have, if any, what changes have you seen in David since he maybe captured the title? Because it was a big fight. He got through a tournament to get there. He got through an injury to get there. He had to sit one event out, but, we held the place for him. He earned that title. And the way he did it, Coach Pot, the way he won that title, man, was, in my opinion, the performance of his career. It was just absolutely amazing. And I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a technical issue with this camera, but it was amazing. What is your opinion on, if he's changed at all since winning that title? How's he looking since winning that title to you?
David has gotten stronger. If you look at his muscle fiber, so muscle fiber, short hip movement, knuckles got bigger, so these are the things that David improved on. If you look at the fight where he fought Nathan Hawthorne, I watched videos on Nathan Hawthorne. He's more of an MMA fighter. So I told David and I told the team, we're going to be working on, throwing combinations to the head so he can lift up his hands, and then we're going to start kicking the front leg. If you're an MMA fighter, you want to stand more forward. If you're a boxer, you're going to stand more forward. You're not going to check those leg kicks. So going into the game plan against Nathan, that's what we wanted David to do. In the first round, he couldn't do that. He was off his game. He was trying to get back, and then in the second round, we told him, stick to the game. Coach Johnson told David, hey, we can't have you, jumping around and waiting for that moment. You got to step in and punch, step in and punch and kick. So, and I told David, hey, you're going to win the fight if you keep on doing those things. Go throw the punches to the head, let him cover up and come with the kick. Pop, 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 pop. Judge is going to see if you're not checking, and you're taking leg kicks, these are the things that, judges will see, hey, who's going to win the fight from that. Okay. And then going on to Mariano, we had a good camp. David gets hurt. You could tell by his nose. His back was hurt. But David fought when he fought for you the first time. We didn't want to pull out. He got in a motorcycle accident and he hurt his right hand. And I said, hey, we have 3 weeks before the fight.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I told him, I go, you're fighting kickboxing. The only thing that we can't produce is just elbows. So you still have, your left hand, you have your 2 knees, you have your kicks. Let's get this stronger. So that's when we start working on push kicks, and then he understands that there's more to just trying to knock somebody out, So going to Mariano, I told David, hey, we're gonna pinpoint our punches. I had, Quentin Rampage, made my nose go like this, so I had a nose injury before, for somebody to saying that, hey, you're gonna pull out because your nose hurt, we're gonna go punch your nose, so that's what I trained David for, but
yeah.
Like I said, I kind of learned more about strength and conditioning and how to form your body to become stronger, so, and that's what I did with David. It wasn't just punching the pad. It was more of stop, freeze, hit, stop, freeze, hit. You do that kind of movement, you're gonna see how fast your punches is gonna be. So there's different type of training that we did for Mariana, and we were able to complete that goal and get him the belt. So go for it, George.
What a beautiful performance, though, Pot. I mean, that was the best. That was one of the best performances I've seen. When you take into consideration the circumstances, right? Death Dealer David Marquez had fought against Nathan Hawthorne in the first round of the tournament. Hurt for the return fight, so he couldn't compete during the second round of the tournament. Was there on the sidelines, was worried. He was like, hey, I know you got to move on. But we talked. I told him, listen, you earned that shot. We're going to hold your place for the next Fighters Rep, and you're going to fight for the title. Comes back after missing an event and injuring himself, and goes out there against a guy who, was talking and saying things to David that was really irking him. They had some beef. There was some heat. He mentioned him pulling out, like you said, because of a nose injury, and going out there on the night, Pot, and just absolutely just dominating that fight and finishing him in one round the way he did, looking sharper. You would have thought he would have maybe missed a step because he was hurt and couldn't come out to the previous Fighters Rep. Man, he looked sharper than ever. He looked better than ever. He looked super comfortable and confident in there. What was it about that camp? What was it about that fight that he just, what was it that Corona got him angry and just motivated him to the next level? I mean, what happened in this camp for him to look so spectacular?
We watched that interview with Corona, and as a coach, you have to talk to your fighter and let them know, hey, this is part of the game. There's going to be some smack talking. I'm going to let you do what you need to do, but I'm going to make sure you're stronger for this fight. This is your belt. This is what you worked hard for, and this is how we're going to win. Josh, the Korean Pitbull, came in, he has that mentality too, to go after it, to bang, have the best cardio.
He really does. He really does.
So, and there's no quit, so
yeah.
It just, and then we're in the backstage, we're the backstage, Miss Ferreira was able to, do some videotaping of us in the backstage, and we were just working on precise hitting. I was working with them. Josh was working with them. And if you were to, he was able to get like 3 good, precise shots, on Corona. So those are the things that, we kept on working with them,
Yeah.
And David already has the confidence. He already has the toughness. He doesn't let things bother him. He knows how to have fun
At all. Nothing bothers that guy at all, man.
Correct. Yeah. So those are the things that we kind of just did for him.
It just I mean, one of the best, like I said, one of the best performances I've seen in the Lions Den in a very long time. We've had quicker knockouts. We've had great performances, but just it wasn't like a surprise knockout, kind of like how Milshawn's fight went, right, where he just blitzed Claycomb and got him out of there, and Claycomb never really got the chance to get going. We didn't really see a fight. No, Mariano in this fight, he was swinging back, he was hitting back, but it's like he couldn't do anything against Marquez. What was the game plan going into that fight?
So if you were to watch the video again, so Mariano was a good 1 inch to 2 inch from knocking David out. His punch was there, his strength was there.
Yeah.
We worked on the distance. We worked on covering up. I don't know if you watched David when his previous fight, where he's not covering up, fought Ralph Sanchez, wasn't covering up. And then when you go to watching him fight Corona, look at how he was able to cover up, and then that distance, so punching distance and staying. A lot of fighters, when you get somebody hurt, they're going to start rushing them. And then all of a sudden there's a clinch. There was no clinch. David was able to stay his place, know his distance, watch for the overhand right, watch for the left hook, and keep on throwing the punches.
Yeah.
So, and that's all from training and not rushing, for that knockout.
Yeah. Do you see him continuing to improve at the rate he's improving up against, Ralph Sanchez coming up here? I mean, he just looked so good in that last fight. I mean, is there something you guys are working on?
This is what we're working on. Okay. So the fight against Ralph Sanchez, if there was no headgear, there was going to be a different fight. David has head kicks. You did the fight of the night. You did the slow motion, and we were able to see. Imagine if there was no headgear for that fight. David could have landed those kicks clean. So I'm bringing the leg kicks back just for you, George. And the fans. The fans want to see, David, knock out Ralph Sanchez with a leg kick. So I'm gonna bring it back. We're gonna set it up. It's gonna be, very smart. We gotta have a plan for Ralph's inside kick and him rushing in. Thank you for giving us a good 2 to 3 seconds in the clinch now. So now we have a good way out of it. So, the plan is gonna come. So, like I said, do you want a 5-round war fight of the night, or do you want another good setup knockout kick?
And it sounds like you're going for that latter one in this fight.
Yes.
I love it. David has had some of the most spectacular performances in that ring, man. Has anyone told you anything about how entertaining, not just how great he is as a fighter, right? But how entertaining he is as a fighter? Because, I mean, he's got to be one of the most action-packed fighters we've ever had at FightersRep.
I told David, that you have this entertainer in you, I don't know if you ever seen him cook food and have fun with it, on his Instagram. And I told him, hey, this is who you are. I want to watch you, and when you talk, on the mic, you represent yourself. You always make sure it's for the fans, so, he knows how to, entertain himself and also entertain the crowd.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned him covering up more, and you mentioned, you're kind of going to be working on the defensive side for Sergio Rodriguez as well. Is that sort of your specialty or your niche as a coach, Coach Pot, really like kind of tightening up guys' defense? Because they say defense wins championships,
Correct. Yeah. Coming from my, what my dad taught me, he always told me use the teep as your defense. You know, you could use the teep as your offense, use the teep as your defense too. But you have to understand, you know, you can't fight, you know, every opponent the same way. You have to have a certain game plan. Sergio is going to fight somebody taller. We've seen smaller guys beat taller guys. We've seen taller guys dominate smaller guys. You know, so what Sergio has, he could do it. Defensive wise, we have to know. Jason has a great left hook. You know, Jason has a great 1-2 punch. Jason has a great uppercut punch, you know.
Yeah.
So as a defensive trainer, we have to find different ways to block these things. But not only when you block these things, you got to counter. So like I said, you know, you could throw heavy punch, but you know, if you get to the second and third round, you know, that's where the cardio kicks in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're hoping to get through that part and then come with the bang.
Death Dealer, you know, me and you've been working together for a while. We've been good friends for a while as well. You know, linking up through this fight game and you know, really building a relationship here. And you know, Death Dealer's our first champion together. You know what I mean? It was the first belt, and it's the first belt for you know, your new. It looks like your new team. You know, kind of tell us about it. And you know, tell me how it felt to win that first belt at Fighters Rep.
You know, David had a championship fight before, you know, and I saw it in his eyes after, you know, the judge announced who was the winner. You know, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, you're fine. You're good. You know, your style is Fighters Rep. You know, let's go fight at Fighters Rep. You know, you have this opportunity to get a belt." So I already knew he was gonna win that fight. You know, we just got to make it happen and execute it. So David, David has everything now that he's grown. He took over, you know, the kickboxing program at Buena Park Martial Arts Academy. I'm over there at Tillis BJJ teaching kickboxing now. So he's grown as a fighter and he's grown as a teacher. These are two deadly combinations, you know, when you're coming into a fight, you know.
Right. And how did it feel for you, you know, to get that Fighters Rep title? I mean, you know, we've been working together for a while. You know, how did it feel to get to, you know, to get your first title? And you know, I know you've won several titles and been a part of this kind of thing before, but not with Fighters Rep. You know, we're pretty new on the scene, relatively speaking. So,
It's a beautiful belt, George.
thank
You
you,
know, the
man.
promotion that you do with your you know, at the Commerce Casino is it's great, you know. But my thing is, you know, I just like to go hug you. I just like to, you know, see you smile, you know. But you know, that was all for David. You know, David
Yeah.
started with us 0-0 record, and then he grew, you know. So everything was for David. Don't forget, you know, also with Coach Matt Johnson, you know, he couldn't make it
Right.
for that fight, but you know, a lot of work, you know, Coach Johnson did for David too, you know.
Now, I love and I appreciate the respect with you rocking the Fighters Rep shirt, man. I can always count on your support. And you know, I support you, and you're gonna have to send me a shirt. And you know, I'm gonna ask about that now. That FD on the shield next to the Fighters Rep, that logo, that's the Fight Development logo,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And that looks like, you know, that's your new team. Kind of tell me about it. Let the world know about it.
So fight development, when I created with my buddy Floyd and Ivan. You know, a lot of coaches did not get that exposure. You know, when people fight, you know, it's always the fighters that get exposed. You know, fight development, I wanted to, you know, link up with a lot of gyms, you know, talk to the coaches. They give insight on how their training is. That presents it to the world. Everybody's able to see, you know, how different styles are different, you know. So that's what fight development is. You know, you have the fight in you have coaches that's going to teach you different styles. What are those different styles, you know? So
Yeah.
And that's what it is. The fight development is just more for the coaches. When I train and I walk, David out, we're representing, Burnham Park Martial Arts Academy. When
Mhm.
I walk out, Tillis BJJ, I'm representing Noah Tillis and his fighters. It's not fight development. Fight development. I want to meet coaches and get that inspiration and get their inspiration out so people can
Yeah.
see it.
I love it. I love it. DG Milan in here says, Coach Pot, best in the game. Appreciate you being in here, DG Milan. And, Pot, the legend of Pot continues to grow, man. You got a lot of fans, a lot of followers, people in here. Hadi Sukar says, Coach Pot, the man himself. You get a lot of love from the community. You do a great job kind of networking. Like you said, a fight development sounds almost like a networking team in the fight game. Tell me a little bit about that. Where did you kind of learn to be that way in the fight game? Because a lot of the times these guys want to keep everything a secret, want to keep everything to themselves. But you want to go out here and spread the knowledge.
Basic small business. So think about fighters. They have to do their work to promote themselves. But they don't know how to promote themselves. They could just say, oh, okay, I'm gonna fight for Fighters Rep. Fighters Rep's gonna do the job. It's not. Fighters Rep can do as much as they can, but the fighters have to go do it. So
That's
in
right.
a gym, when you walk in, this is the old way. I like the old way. The old way goes, hey George, you're a member of this gym. Can you give me 10 more names of your friends and their phone number so I could reach out to them? You know, that's the thing I want them to do. Hey, go on your free Instagram, go on your free Facebook, and start reaching out to people out there. For tonight, hey, I want you to, hashtags kickboxing, go to one championship, look at who are the fans, reach out to them like, hey, do your work. Like, hey, come and watch Fighters Rep. Hey, come and subscribe to Fighters Rep. If I go, hey, do 10 a day, by 5 days, that's 50. You
Right.
know,
Right.
50, do it 2 weeks, you got 100. And your fight camp is going to be 2 to 3 months. So if you're doing that every single day, go on a computer, spend a good 10 minutes, you're guiding more fans to you. They want to see it. You also got to post up videos of you training.
Very
There's nothing to
important.
hide.
Very
Kickboxing,
important.
the fight game, everybody throws a punch, everybody checks up, there's nothing to hide. You need all those things to fight. Um, you show videos, you show yourself having fun, you show yourself hitting back. You never know there's a person that didn't believe in themselves and fighting. They watch your videos, they like your content, they go into your gym,
Yeah.
so those are the things that I want my guys to learn how to do, and then even with fight development, I do my research where I'll look at social media, like how do I get more people to subscribe? How do I get more? I don't want just anybody to subscribe. I want somebody that understands or want to learn about the fight game. So
Yeah.
that's where I kind of teach them, but they got to do the work. They can't just depend on Fighters Rep and say, hey, David's gonna fight Ralph Sanchez. Everybody come. No, there's more work to it. Like last Thursday. I have two of my amateurs getting ready for a fight, and I said, "Hey guys, take pictures with the fighters that are going to be fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Present it
Yeah.
to your
Smart.
social media.
Smart. Smart.
Tickets are for sale. So those are the things that we want to do. You have to promote yourself.
Absolutely. So I wanted to talk to you, and I agree with you 100%. I wish more of these guys would make videos and get themselves out there because like you said, we're limited to what we can do. I mean, we can't send a cameraman to every single fighter's gym. We can't, sometimes we can't even get an interview with every single fighter. Sometimes I try to and they're not even available or they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? So it's hard. So I really, really appreciate what you're saying. But I just want to kind of, run through these with you. I mean, of course, you're going to be on the Rodriguez versus Granado fight as one of the cornermen. And of course, you're going to be with David Marquez versus Ralph Sanchez as he defends his title. But we've also got, a really, really stacked card, Pot. Wanted to get your opinion on these. Milshawn Lathan is defending his light middleweight title against Rudy Cuevas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've seen both of those guys fight. I don't know. I wanted to get your opinion on that. I mean, what do you think about that fight?
So, Milshawn, I met him.
You told me about him.
Yeah,
you told me about him for a long time.
I told you, this guy has power.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has power. He knows how to separate, and he knows how to throw that power. His power. Watch his hip. Don't even just look at the knockout. Watch how his hips move and how he generates energy. So I taped up his hands, and I looked at his knuckles, and I go, wow, man, you have knockout power, And then I taped up his hand. He goes in there, and I believe he got disqualified because he hit the guy too hard, So this is more of like a semi-contact kind of.
Yeah, this was back when he was doing the semi-contact, the point stuff.
Yeah. And I asked him, like, what happened? He goes, oh, I hit the guy too hard. And then I go, you have that power, so you gotta be careful, But I think this is gonna be the toughest challenge for him. Okay, so we watch. Is it Rudy? Rudy is very skillful, very, very skilled. Could throw combination, could throw flying knees to the body, could go spinning back kick, heel kick. So this is the dangerous fight for Milshawn. But a power could knock somebody's game plan out, so we have to see. So this is a fight that, I want to pay money for. If I wasn't in a corner, the guys, this is the fight I want to go watch.
Yeah.
I don't know how much are table service right now, George.
The VIP tables, I think we only sell them for like $400. They're pretty cheap, and it seats 8 people.
I'll take one, George.
I appreciate you, but you're going to be in the corner. You don't need to take one.
I've been promoting this fight. My wife, she's going to bring her family. So this is the night to be. Even at work, I'm promoting it. I want people to understand the atmosphere that you bring to the fight. Don't forget, it's not just fights. You have the music, you have the DJ, you have tables for anybody that wants to gamble. You have a booth for people to take pictures. It's an entertainment area. Okay, so.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
That out there for people.
I appreciate you, Potty. And he's absolutely right. You get your tickets at FightersRep.com for the Los Angeles event at the beautiful Commerce Casino. No excuses. They've got a hotel attached, Pot. So wherever they are in the country or the world, they can come spend the evening with us on March 2nd. You're not going to want to miss it. The best striking show on earth featuring the best young talent on earth. And we're doing it in Florida, Coach Pot, for Fighters Rep 21. On February 17th, it's our first show in Pompano Beach at the Arion Event Center, something we're very much looking forward to. And I'm looking to develop the guys here, Coach Pot, the way we've been developing them over there and hopefully making them fight each other, kind of like how we did when we brought Joe. We brought Joe over to fight Cam at the last event. I'm not sure if you remember. So
Grant, what a tough fighter he is. He's solid. All he needed was that overhand right. So I was watching the fight to see if that overhand came, but it's tough. You got to block your body and you can't throw anything. Cam came with so many kicks to the body, punches to the head, so it was just hard for Grant to throw something. But any sponsors out there, if you could sponsor David or Sergio a flight and a hotel room, we would fight over there in Florida for you.
Yeah, well, and I'd be happy to pay for that. I mean, we did that for Joe. We do that when we bring fighters in. We actually pay for their hotels and their travel Pot. So, but definitely, if any sponsors want to step up and help us cover those costs, we're happy to do that. So we've also got Tyler Fox taking on Hamza Trad, man. Hamza Trad defending his welterweight title. Tyler, you're probably not going to know much about because he's from Johnny Parsons' team out there in Las Vegas. But Hamza Trad, man, that kid is an absolute treat to watch. Have you seen him fight, Coach Pop?
I've seen him fight. He's a beast. So, I haven't seen, his opponent fight. I'll probably, after our interview, I'll probably search it. But, I'm going to go with the local, he hits strong. He kicks strong. He's a champion for a reason. I think he also holds belts for other organizations too.
For
So
MMA too.
yes.
For MMA too. I mean, he's a real handful, and he's really young, and I'm really impressed by him. He's always fun to watch. I look forward to getting to know his opponent too. I mean, Johnny Parsons is a great coach, so I think that's going to be a fun fight coming in from Las Vegas. And then we've got, I don't know if you know these young ladies, Coach Pop, but it's going to be our first female title fight in quite a long time at 125 pounds. Connie Gonzalez out of Vital Force, which is a team you're very familiar with, Lamance's team, taking on Nancy Tran out of Lotus Muay Thai in Virginia. She's actually from, I think, the Long Beach area. So it's going to be kind of a homecoming for her. Looks like she moved away. She's very close with Hung. So, I hear nothing but great things about her and, of course, Connie. And it's going to be fun to have a female title fight on the line.
Team Hung versus Team Laments. That's going to be a good one.
There you go. We've got Alex Stowe coming back against James Sandoval out of Los Angeles Muay Thai. I'm super excited about those guys. Of course, Michael Claycomb, he's coming back, and he's going to be taking on Braden Tamazaki from basically Northern California. And De La Paz is coming back to take on Ruben Avila, who fought in the last event, coached by Tariq Safieddine. So I think
that's going to be a good fight. I'm a De La Paz fan. I watched him. I like his style. So big shout out to King Cobra's team. Yeah. But I like De La Paz. He's he's going to be another star for you to raise up and rise up. So
I think so. I think so too. I think so too. He's he's one of those guys where. And it's a situation that happens sometimes where even though he came up short against Granado, I think everybody became a fan just based on the heart and the skill that he showed in that fight. Can't wait to fight with the man, Coach Pot, in my corner again, says David Death Dealer Marquez. So big shout out to the champ, Death Dealer, right here.
David, what a pleasure to watch his journey, and now this is his time. This is his journey. I already watched the journey where me and him came together. Now I put everything on him, and he's going to be, he created his own, team for this fight camp. So I want to see it.
I love it. I love it. We look forward to watching you guys in the Lions Den again, March 2nd. Get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen, at FightersRep.com. Pot, thank you so much for your time this evening, man. Is there anything you want to say? Is there anyone you want to shout out? The floor is entirely yours.
Well, thank you, George. Guys, don't forget to get your tickets. Hey, George, I'm not lying with you right now. Can I sell you? I want to get my my seats for my family to watch this fight. I'll take that $400 deal. I'm gonna do it right now. Everybody that's watching this, live YouTube cast right here. Make sure you guys buy your ticket. It's a fun atmosphere. Bring your family, bring your date if you want to. You want to win some money, go. You get the gamble at the Commerce Casino. The food is good. They got burritos, got nachos. Drinks are, a good amount. You're going to have fun. You're going to cheer. Shout outs, definitely. Of course, I got to always put a shout out to all my coaches that brought me to this level. You got Omri from Long Beach Kickboxing.
Wow.
You got my sensei Yuki from Piston Gym. Back in the days with George Zarate and George Valdez, Eddie Millis over there, Jamie Fletcher. And then coming into the new cast right here, you know, you got Antonio McKee that brought me in, Matt Johnson that brought me in, Mike Rush. Those are the guys that kind of put everything for me. And then now my new, you know, head coach that I'm going to be working with is Noah Tillis at Tillis BJJ in Whittier, California. So if you guys are looking for a good kickboxing program, please reach out to me or please reach out to Noah Tillis. Okay.
Absolutely love it, Coach Pot. Thank you so much for your time this evening, man. And again, I can't wait to watch you guys compete on March 2nd. Get your tickets at FightersRep.com and follow Coach Pot at Fight Development on Instagram. We will see you guys soon. Everybody, have a great night. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, George.